Welcome to Surviving the Side Hustle podcast, the place where expert-based business owners learn how to build momentum, avoid burnout, and create sustainable success on their own terms. I'm your host, Rob Tracy, strength and conditioning specialist turned founder and CEO of Prime Performance Coaching, the personal performance strategy firm for high-achieving business owners and operators. I partner with driven entrepreneurs to implement the Prime Performance process, an awareness-based operating system that's helped me and countless solopreneurs and small business owners evolve from just being high performers on the edge of burnout to prime performers building sustainable success. The impact of Prime Performance process has led me here, where I'll show you how to get unstuck and design your own Prime Performance life without sacrificing your health, relationships, or sanity. So whether you're hustling after hours or scaling your passion project, today and here, you're going to get real stories, science-backed strategies, and practical frameworks to help you excel every step of your journey. It's time. Let's get intentional, build momentum, and become prime performers together. We'll get started just after this message. If you're an ambitious business owner or side hustler who's ready for a breakthrough, tired of spinning your wheels, looking to slide past burnout and build real momentum, I'd love to invite you to book a free Prime Performance strategy session with me or one of our strategists. This is your chance to get personalized insight on what's been holding you back and get a clear path to move forward. No fluff, just actionable strategy. So if you're interested, visit survivingthesidehustle.com/free call to request your spot now. Again, that's survivingthesidehustle.com/free call. Looking forward to helping you become a prime performer. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. Today's guest is Cindy Van Eeckout. She is an entrepreneur, coach, and former corporate sales leader who made a bold decision many dream about, but few actually take. After building 3 thriving businesses in south of France, including a boutique B&B, an art brand, and a real estate company, Cindy and her husband realized something surprising. Their businesses were successful, but they were exhausted. So they made the difficult decision to shut down 2 of their companies at the peak and pivot into something more aligned. Today, Cindy helps high-achieving women eliminate overwhelm caused by misaligned success and build a life rooted in clarity, health, and joy. Today's conversation is about burnout, reinvention, joy, and what sustainable success actually looks like. Cindy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Rob, for having me, and thank you for this beautiful introduction.
Yeah, of course. So I would love to just dive right in. And I want to ask you, so you left corporate Belgium to move to south of France, and pretty big change because you were jumping out on what was an idea, correct? It was a dream that you were looking to kind of chase after. So I want to ask you, what was going through your mind at that time?
It's true that at that time, in one inside, I must say, first of all, I liked it and everything I learned there, it was so valuable. So if I would do it again, I think I would start there again in a corporate company because the trainings were good, the people were good, the mentors, the colleagues. So it was very valuable. And the most important thing is that I met my husband there. So this is the biggest gift I ever received there. But apart from that, yeah, it's a big win. But apart from that, it's just that at a certain time, like after 8 years in, we just realized that even though we loved what we were doing, but the company was growing and you become more a number at a certain time. And you begin to think about what are your values, what do you want in the future. And we just felt that things were getting a little bit more misaligned that we never felt before. And we just asked ourselves the question, is there something else? Is there something else we can do? Is there something else we want to achieve? And if yes, what would that be? This is what happened. So it was not that we were in fight with the company or they said like, no, they're not good. It's just like, it's a feeling. And it all started with a feeling and sharing this feeling with my husband, like, do you feel that as well? And both of us were feeling that. And then just taking the bold decision saying, okay, we are successful. we have the paycheck that we want and we have this financial success in one hand side, but you just don't feel fully rich on the inside. It was like more a little bit of fulfillment that was missing. And at that point, it was also the joy that was like, we want to go for a little bit more of joy. And this is where
Mm.
we took the decision just to really literally we quit from one day to another. We took the car to the south of France and we didn't had a bulletproof plan. We didn't have a home. It was just a name. And the name was Alegria. And Alegria is a Spanish word for joy. And that was enough for us. And it started all there. So with joy, going to the south of France, going to follow our heart. And 3 days later, we found the house that we were dreaming of. And I think it was 5 months later, we opened the first company. This is
Wow.
how it started.
Yeah, I love that. And you said something, you said something quickly and kind of moved over it and went on, but I want to go back and kind of pull it back out for a second and get your opinion or maybe some of your thoughts on this, because a lot of people, at least for myself, speaking from my own history of when I was grinding and working and building my fitness book of business up, it's easy to kind of get lost in that grind and that hustle. And a lot of people tend to turn to distractions, whether it's Netflix or binge eating, or maybe it's like the cell phone, doom scrolling. There's a lot of tools that are available to us to distract ourselves and keep us separated from being in tune with ourselves. And you said something that it all started from a feeling. You were enjoying where you were in the corporate position, but it started to feel that you were misaligned a little bit. And I feel like a lot of people lack that groundedness or that awareness. So I want to ask you, so what helps keep you grounded so that you can be more present in your everyday life throughout life?
Again, it starts with a feeling. And if you have this feeling that, and you just know, if you're honest with yourself, like when things look great from the outside, but then again, on the inside, you don't have this wow feeling, then it's the start that things are getting misaligned. So, what can you do when you feel it? If you don't feel it, anyway, you will feel it. If you're honest with yourself, you feel it. I just always say to my clients, go to nature or do something which has nothing to do with your job. Do it, have a walk, and just go and make sure you don't go in your head. And whatever you do, if you watch the birds, the sun, the sky, water, a waterfall, things that are completely different, you will go little by little back into your heart. And this is for me the slowing down part. And it's to slow down and reconnect again with yourself. And the reconnection, it is not while you're watching Netflix, while you're eating, while you're going and partying. It's okay that you do that if you want to do that, but this is not where you will find answers to the feelings you have or you don't have. And if you feel drained and you feel like exhausted, like your energy is not there, these are all little signs. And your body, it's so smart and it gives these signs. And it's up to you whether you want to listen to it or not. But if you're listening to it, and again, go into nature, do some sports, do something completely different, go way out of your head, go into your heart and your guts, and ask yourself, what do I want? And if it's just a break for a moment, take a break. If it's like another position in the same company, try to go for that. If it's more time for yourself or for some exercising, whatever, listen because you know much more than you think. But if you don't even, then you feel and just take the time for it and slow down and reconnect. It's the most important thing you can do if you're in this hustle culture.
Yeah, I really love that, because when I finally tasted some of the awareness and I had realized that building this fitness business wasn't what I wanted to be doing and I wanted to pivot, I was really unsure and there was a lot of uncertainty on what I was trying to build and where I was going to be moving. And what really gave me the space to get creative and start to discover what it is that I wanted to be doing came to me when I would go on walks outside and I would leave my headphones at home. So I would just go out, just quietly peaceful by myself. And I guess people call that silent cardio now. I guess people do that as a thing, but for me, I had no idea. I just wanted to go out, sit in silence, feel the sunlight, and just go on a little walk and just breathe the air. And that opened up that space, like I said, for me to learn and discover what it is that I wanted to do. So I appreciate you sharing that. And I want to use that to kind of segue into my next question. because you kind of jumped right into entrepreneurship. And when you jump right in with launching the B&B, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of uncertainty because you're kind of figuring it out as you're going. So what were some of the lessons that you learned when you first started out doing that?
For me, there are four, because in the meanwhile, we have four different businesses created in more than 20 years. And there, for me, there are four very important lessons that I learned within all the different companies that we created. The first is always listen to your heart and believe in yourself. If it feels good, give it a try. It doesn't mean it will work all the time, because it's not because it feels right that from the first time everything will work like how you saw it. No, there will be challenges, and more than one. As an entrepreneur, the entrepreneur is saying like, oh, everything flow all the time and zero challenges, and I never heard about that word. It's not an entrepreneur. And even for the corporate world, it doesn't exist. So, and it's fine, because it's thanks to the challenges that you will grow and that you will go really to a better level. And it can also change your journey anyway. So the first thing is listen to your heart, believe in yourself. Number one, if you're not passionate about it, don't even start with it, because you really will have to put the effort in it and the action and the energy. And if you just do it because you think, oh, this will bring me all the money in the world, and there is zero passion, you're not going to continue with it anyway. So, number one, the heart and the belief. Number two, it's all about the action you take, and I call it the can I. It's a constant and never ending improvement. It's like improve and learn
Mm,
about all the topics that you like to learn. Apart from the personal development and learning, it is very important to surround yourself with like minded people. People who understand what you're doing, people who support you, and people who are not pushing you down, because it will help you grow and you can exchange things. And if you're surrounded by people who are just sitting in a sofa and always saying, I don't know what you're doing, it won't help you in any way. And then the last thing is for me also very important is, apart from the like-minded people, which can be friends or family or your partner or whatever, it is also have somebody, a coach, a mentor, somebody who can help you, who did it before you, who can help you to go faster, because success leaves clues. And if you have somebody to just help you to go faster, you will gain so much hours, days, weeks, and years, especially if you want to go somewhere. You do it together with somebody. It's something that I didn't do in the beginning, and I definitely am doing for all the last years. And it was the best. It's an investment, but it's an investment in yourself. And there's always a return on investment. Otherwise, you're not working with the right people. So these are the four things that I would recommend as an entrepreneur. Believe in yourself, have this always this eager to learn, have like-minded people, and have somebody to help you to go faster.
yeah, I love that. And what's that quote? It's if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly, because when I was building the training business, it was just me, 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 me. Like, yeah, I had a lot of clients around me, but I was so lone wolf kind of mentality that I was going fast. And then I believe burnout sometimes can be a byproduct of when speed outpaces direction. So when I was unclear and I was just going by myself, it was like a fast track to crashing into that burnout wall. And that's part of the reason why I created my Momentum Mastermind, because it's an opportunity to get around more of those like-minded individuals and also learn from each other too. Because although some of us might be in different industries or different stages of our entrepreneurial journey, we each have different lessons that we can bring to and share through the different reflection questions and discussion that we have at the end. So that's always important. And one thing I learned from that group is how important it is really to change and pivot. And I know for yourself, during the early stages of the pandemic and things were kind of causing chaos for your businesses, I know that you had a lot of pressure to kind of pivot and grow and change. So I want to ask you, how has the pivoting kind of changed for you, and like where were you? What separates those entrepreneurs who collapse under pressure versus those who pivot and succeed?
The most important thing there is mindset.
Mm,
Mindset and being ready and adaptable when a challenge arrives. And when I talk about mindset and a growth mindset, it's a mindset where when you have challenges, that you turn them into opportunities. And knowing that when a challenge arrives at that moment, be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Know that this is not fine. It's not the best thing that had ever happened. And in general, it was not announced. So it's like a little bit unforeseen. But having this growth mindset, say, okay, what is the lesson I can learn here? How can we grow here? How can we optimize things that we can get even better, even in this situation, which is completely challenging? And what is the learning? And for me, a growth mindset is you either win or you learn. You never lose. And
Hmm.
for me, the biggest wins were the learnings. It were not the wins. The wins are great to celebrate, and it's important. It's not only for your ego, but it's to keep you going and to say, like, wow, I did do that. Because as an entrepreneur, you're sometimes very hard to yourself. You see all the successes from everybody else, and you just forget yourself and celebrate. So the wins are important. But where we had the most important wins, it were the challenges with the learnings. And then after a while, you can see the dots back and say, thank you that this happened. At the moment, you're not saying thank you. But once you had it once and you had it again, and you see that thanks to this, you always grow, it becomes a game. It's okay. What do I have to learn here? And then finding these pain points where, okay, there's a challenge again. Where can I be better here? And this is how you can help yourself pivot out of these situations that, again, I can tell you, it never felt right at the moment. But after a while, keep, like seeing it as a game, universe playing with you, and you understanding what is the best thing I can do with this situation.
Yeah, I love that because I talk a lot about resilience as the foundation for the prime performance process. What I do with my coaching, and I often talk about how growth is born out of challenge and not the celebration, kind of like what you were just saying. And it's important because it's important to develop that awareness, as you're saying, that mindset, because that allows us to kind of slow things down and look at it from more of a logical standpoint. And a lot of people, I feel like, tend to default to the emotional state, and that can kind of cause chaos and maybe some bad decision, or maybe not less than optimal decisions. And so I want to ask you, like, so how do you help keep yourself grounded on a lot of those emotional things? Because, for example, because you talked about how shutting down your first baby, which was your first business, was emotional. So how do you handle the emotion side of that while still looking at it from like the logical standpoint and looking for those opportunities while keeping yourself in a solid, calm state?
Okay, beautiful question, Rob.
Sorry if that was a curveball.
No, 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 but it's interesting and it's true, but it's with all kind of emotions, whatever it's for your business or in your personal life. If you stay in the emotions, you will not be able, you will be reacting and not responding. So the
Mm,
best thing, there are some things, but the most important thing, it's how I developed my Joy of Life method. And number one of the pillars of my Joy of Life method, it's clarity. So when you have a lot of emotions about something, or when you have a lot of overwhelm, stress, whatever the emotions, the feelings you have, make sure you start with clarity, because thanks to the clarity, the stress and the overwhelm will go down. It will clear your mind, so you have like this mental clutter that will go away, and this will help you to calm down your emotions. One, this is the clarity. Apart from the clarity, it's just acting upon it, but small little step by small little step. But a very important thing there, it's the pillar number two that I work with. It has everything to do with self care, and self care combined with, for me, there are the four magical things if you work about self care, but it is for energy, but it helps to ground your emotions. And the ingredients are nothing special. Everybody knows them, but it's breathing, because this will really, it will help your nervous system to regulate. Together with the breathing, you will feel already like emotions will fade a little bit away. You do the meditation, and the meditation is again to declutter the mind. With that, you do gratitude. And what I love about gratitude, it shifts everything from what is painful and what is not okay to what is meaningful. And when you have this different mindset again, emotions will shift, energy will shift. And this is what can help you in challenging situations. And then the last thing, it's add some physical movement. And again, we come back to walking in nature. It can be dancing, it can be yoga, whatever. But if you combine these four ingredients, I can assure you that the emotions, there will be still emotions, but they will be more grounded. And the more you exercise this, and you can make a beautiful ritual out of this on a daily basis, you will feel that the emotions will calm down and you will not react anymore, but respond. And it's all about mindfulness. And it's so important. It's a state where, yeah, it's an awareness where you know what are my emotions, what is the environment, and what are my thoughts. And for me, mindfulness, it calms the mind. And when I talk about joy, I like joy because for me, joy, it fills the heart. And it's like the mindfulness opens the space and joy will fill it. And to come to that state, you have to do all these little rituals in order to calm everything down. And from that space, you can make completely different decisions that are based on a more calm state instead of a very emotional state with full of emotions that are not always the most productive.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. It's me, Rob, and I hope you're enjoying today's conversation. But I wanted to remind you, if you're a driven entrepreneur or an expert-based business owner who wants to get unstuck, create sustainable momentum, and really start moving forward, I've got a free resource just for you. You can download my 5 keys to clarity and momentum. It's a PDF guide. It's a quick read, and it'll help you cut through the noise, clarify your next steps, and start building the systems that you need for sustainable success. So if you're new here, or if you haven't grabbed it yet, this is the first step to applying these principles in your own journey. So head over to survivingthesidehustle.com/5keys and download your free copy today. Again, that's survivingthesidehustle.com/5keys. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that was awesome. I love that whole skills and strategies you just gave there, really slowing things down, making better decisions, and it really starts with that clarity aspect that you were saying. And that's really super important. And I remember the early days of myself, I was just kind of chasing this idea of success because that somebody else had like bestowed upon me. I was just chasing after these milestones because I thought that's what I needed to be doing and I needed to be doing. And it wasn't until I really took a minute to like step back and really define what success meant to me, um, that's what really allowed me to then pivot and change and like, okay, allow me to make better decisions because now I'm clear on what I'm actually trying to get to. So I want to ask you, like, what does sustainable success mean to you?
For me, sustainable success is for me aligned success, and that is success that feels as good as it looks. So it needs to look good, but feel good as well. And this is what I do today with the women I work with. In general, they realize at a certain time that they're rich on their bank account, but they're poor on the inside. And what I do is I empower them to turn this success that I have, financial success, to turn it into true wealth where life feels as good as it looks without the stress, without the overwhelm, the guilt, the exhaustion, and the unfulfillment. And this is so important for me to distinguish success and being rich and being wealthy because it's a
Mm.
complete other ball game. And for me, being rich is having money, but being wealthy, it's having a life you love. And this is where I aim to have not only in my life, but where I really empower others to experience that same feeling again, because we can have it all. And it's not just what you were telling, chasing the success just for the ego or the finance. This is great. And finance is great. There's nothing wrong with having all the money, but just that you will not feel rich. You will feel poor on the inside and it won't feel aligned and it will not be sustainable. So, to have sustainable success, it is going for true wealth and a life rich in time, in freedom, in joy, in love, and in contribution. And this is what brings you sustainable success.
I love that. And do you see a lot of high performers kind of struggling with joy because their definition of success is misaligned?
I do. They think don't always know it. And there's nobody who's gonna wake up in the morning saying, like, oh my gosh, I'm missing some joy today, or this is what I'm chasing now. They don't even realize it anymore. But that's the thing. And also to be very clear, because some people don't even understand what is joy and what is happiness and what is the difference and what is it all about. For me, joy, it is like renewable source of vitality that is from within. It comes from within and it comes from alignment, from presence and being. It's a way of being. Happiness is great as well, but that's more a way of feeling. And this way of feeling, it's more an emotional reaction to an external event. So it's more like a moment driven, where joy is more like lasting. The nice part about joy, it's not a goal. It's not like I'm going to do all this, whatever it can be, in order to then achieve joy. No, joy is something you create along the way. And if you enjoy your journey, you will have joy all the time. And you don't have to think anymore about it because you would just feel it again. And it's not something that comes at the end, it's there all the time. And what I see today, first of all, most of the high achievers, they don't even realize it anymore. They don't think about it. They don't know what joy is, and they don't. And what I see is it shows up in different ways. So I'll give you some. I call them the four joy blockers. Uh, it's for myself. But when I talk with my clients, there are four different ways in general. So it all starts from misalignment, whatever the misalignment can be. But you will see there is mental overload. And the mental overload, it starts with endless to-do lists, no clarity anymore. And this really leads to overwhelm. So mental overload and overwhelm, it comes from misalignment. And I can tell you, if you have that, there is no joy because you will sacrifice the joy first. And this is why the joy is gone. So this is one of the ways where this misalignment shows up. Another way, it's emotional suppression. And with emotional suppression, I mean like minimizing your emotions in order to be more productive. And this is what a lot of high achievers do because they want to push through. So they don't even think about their emotions. So you've got unprocessed emotions like stress, guilt, doubt, whatever, and they lead to burnout. And again, this is not a place where you will find joy in your life. A third blocker that you will have in your life coming from misalignment is physical depletion. And physical
Hmm.
depletion, it starts with skipping the rest. It starts with all these little body signals of your health that you're putting on the game, and then overscheduling and more and more. And this will lead to exhaustion. And again, you are in this exhausted mode where you don't even think anymore about joy. And then the last one, that's a spiritual misalignment. And this is when your actions, whatever you're doing day to day, they're not longer aligned with your values and with your deep why. And this creates like an inner dissonance. And again, these are some things that I see a lot with high achievers. And the most important thing is if you don't have a big smile while you wake up in the morning to go to work, there's a big chance that one of the four, or maybe two or three, or sometimes the four, are there in your life. And it just means you're misaligned. And it doesn't mean it's fatal and there's a big problem with you. This is what I do. I help women to just reorganize things in order to be aligned again. And then automatically you've got a big smile and the joy comes back. But again, joy is the ultimate thing at the end. The most important thing is that you just feel, yeah, have a big smile and feel energized and fulfilled again.
Yeah, I love that. And you've mentioned a couple of times that you work specifically with women to kind of help them get back to this joyous kind of state. But so specifically speaking, like who seems to benefit the most from working with you?
My clients in general, they are women. It's not that these are things that men don't have in their lives. But in general, what I see with the high achieving women, they can be working in the corporate world, very high level, or as an entrepreneur having their own company. It are different profiles, but in general, they have the same things in common. So they are between 35, 55, in general with a partner, in general with children. And this is where the heavy lifting comes because they like to be perfect in the job. They like to be perfect as a partner, as a mother, as a friend, and they just lose themselves along the way. And this is where it goes wrong. And whatever, if you have the highest function in a corporate company or you're running your own business with personnel or without personnel, it's just that you're on empty, you're driving on empty. It starts with the self-care in general. And then just this feeling of like, I have it all. I've got the beautiful title, I've got the money, I've got the car, I've got everything. But how does it come that I'm not happy? I'm not joyful. I don't dare to say it anymore, but this is what they all have in common. And with that, it all starts like, okay, let's maybe start with yourself. Let's fill that cup again. And when you have the energy for yourself, you can give it again. Because there, a lot of them are givers, and they give to everybody, but they just forget themselves.
Yeah, and that's tough because you can't fill up other people's cups if even if you are a giver, if you've got nothing left to give in your own cups. Powerful stuff there. And so I understand you've got a lot of exciting things kind of coming up. I'd love to ask you a little bit about we had mentioned in a previous conversation about a podcast coming out. What's up with that? What's going on with that whole idea?
Yeah, beautiful ideas and opportunities for this year. So, um, as I'm in a lot of podcasts and I love it, so I will be more than happy to launch my own podcast, and it will be around this. So I would love to invite guests to my podcast, not only women there, because I like the both men and women and how they see a life that feels as good as it looks, how they see this wealth. And when I talk about a wealthy life, for me, there are four big areas. There is everything concerning the health, and with health, it's very large. It's emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual health. Number two, it's all about relationships, the relationships towards yourself, towards your partner, kids, and family and friends. Number three, it's all about your career and the ambitions you have and the alignment and finance. And also there, the relationship with money and how you work with that. And number four, it's about the quality of life. And this is all about it. So within these four categories, I would love to have beautiful conversations and that are inspiring for other people to work on all these areas and understanding that it's possible to have them all. Maybe not at the beginning, but while you work on it. So with that, having this beautiful conversation, making a book around it. I just made a co-author book about creating a life that feels as good as it looks. And this is what I would love to do is inspire others to know that it's possible and have as much as different tips from my hosts, from myself, from my clients, in order that it is possible and that people know that this is a future they can go, they come from to go to. So this is what's going on with the podcast, and together with that, a book concerning that.
I love it. It's really exciting stuff. And I know in a previous conversation, you had shared that like having conversations really accelerate growth. And I'd love to ask you, like, why do you feel that having conversations like the podcast and with your clients and such, why does that help accelerate growth?
It all comes back again, like what I said in the beginning, it's being with like-minded people and learning. For me, investing in yourself and learning and personal development, again, it's the best investment you can ever do. Nobody can tax it, nobody can take it away. And it's for you for always. So I always learn when I talk with people. When we had a beautiful conversation as well. Now with this conversation, we all learn from each other. And with each little learning, you just pivot every time again. And it is so interesting. I really love it. The more you have these conversations with people, there's always a little thing that you saw differently, or you were stuck, or you can help somebody else that was stuck. And if you're in your own world and you always stay in your cocoon, you just don't see it anymore. And it just opens completely, not only the mind, it opens your heart, it opens everything. So, this is for me what life is all about.
And speaking of conversations, if somebody's listening to this conversation and they're interested in having a conversation with you, what's the best way for them to go about initiating that?
There are two ways. There is my website, Alegria, Joy of Lives. In Alegria, it's Alegia. I don't know if you're going to put it in the website. So Alegria Coaching, one word with one L, .eu. So this is a website. They will find lots of information. There's also an assessment that I offer as a free gift. There are always gifts that I offer. Now there is a Joy of Life assessment, and this is a quiz. Just it takes 2 minutes, and it will help them to see what is giving them the overwhelm, the exhaustion, and the stress. And it automatically, when they just fill in some questions, they will have like a personalized report with tips and insights in order to really reduce the stress and to get more joy and energy back again in their lives. So this is the website. And apart from that, I'm on socials. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. And also there they can follow me with lots of pleasure. They can direct message me, and on my website, there everything is there to get connected with me.
So make sure you guys follow her on the socials and go check out her website too. And stay tuned for the podcast and book. And Cindy, I want to thank you for coming on today. It's been super awesome. Love the conversation. Love speaking with you. I love the excitement and the positivity that just radiates out of just speaking with you and the joy around you, I should say. So thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom and insights and your story with everybody here today.
You're more than welcome. It was a pleasure for me because I know we do quite a lot of, we have a lot of things in common, have a lot of ideas in common. So it's for me very, very interesting also to having this conversation with you. And thank you for organizing this beautiful podcast. So thank you, Rob.
Of course, of course. But before I let you go, Cindy, I want to ask you one final question here because in the show is Surviving the Side Hustle. So a lot of our listeners have their typical 9-to-5 job and they're also running a side business on the side. So they've got running two jobs essentially. They might be feeling successful on paper, but they might be quietly and like draining out and empty on the inside. One final piece of advice, what would you share with them to kind of get them started to move themselves closer to joy?
First of all, if you want to move further to joy, the first question you have to ask yourselves, what is one thing that will bring me joy? And this is different for everybody. And it's different for everybody in different seasons of their lives as well. So just ask yourself, what is it that will bring me joy? Is it this new job that I'm just doing aside? Or do I want to stay where? So whatever it is, just ask yourself that first question. Second thing is take a little step towards what will bring you the joy. What is the answer for you? And take that little step and make your plan in order to do it little step by little step. Don't do it in too big steps. I was quite bold with my husband of stopping from one day to another. You can do that and focus on that, but it's okay to do it like in smaller steps. If it feels right for you, this is it. But just make sure there is commitment, make sure there's consistency. And there's Denzel Washington. He says it's so beautiful. So without commitment, you never start. But without consistency, you never finish. And this is for me one of the most beautiful quotes in life and certainly as an entrepreneur.
I love it. Cindy, thank you so much. Beautifully said. It's been a pleasure having you on today. I would love to have you back in the future. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was an amazing episode.
Thank you so much.
That's all for today's episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. If you found value here, please don't forget to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening from. And please create a shared success by helping us share this episode with someone who you think would benefit from today's conversation. And finally, don't forget to connect with us at survivingthesidehustle.com and give us a follow on socials so that we can take part in following along in your entrepreneurial journey. Until next time, remember, success doesn't require a complete sacrifice, just strategy, momentum, and the right support.